Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. It is Thursday, June 16th. Ian Cameron with you. Now, we had Joe Madden scheduled as our guest from weeks ago. We confirmed this, and otherwise we probably wouldn't have had a show today with no game on. But you said, you know what, we got Joe Madden on. She already committed to this day. How could we say no? How could we not do a show today? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just do a nice recap of Game 1 last night, just some early thoughts, early opinions on Game 2, which will take place on Saturday night in Denver, with Colorado leading the series 1-0. Joe, welcome to the show. It was a great betcast last night, a great Game 1. Thanks for joining us for a bit on the betcast last night, and great to have you on the official Daily Ice Guys show for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here, Ian. It's a pleasure, and it was so much fun on the betcast last night. Really enjoyed hanging out with you guys for a little bit, so I can't wait to do the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. No question. The next one, by the way, is Monday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So we're definitely looking forward to that. No question. It's going to be a lot of fun. Game 3, it will be on Monday with Tampa Bay and Colorado. The scene will shift to T-Bay, obviously, for that one on Monday night. So again, join us for that if you want to. That'll be coming up Monday night. Joe, we'll get your thoughts first. Game 1 last night, Colorado jumps on Tampa in the first period. I mean, you were on with us at that time. They got off to that 3-1 start in the opening period. It looked like it was more rest than rust in that opening period from the Avs. We were concerned about that with the 9 days off, but they had the jump on Tampa Bay early. Their speed was really evident, really gave Tampa Bay problems. You could even say a couple of goals that were not the best goals to go in on Andrei Vasilevsky by any stretch of the imagination. So, it's a spot here where they had a great opening period, but Tampa Bay, in classic Lightning fashion, they're never out of a game. They've got the hearts of Lions, Warriors. They've been here before. They've done that. They've come back before in games, and they did that last night with a good second period to get that game tied. 2 quick goals right back in the hockey game. I think Colorado woke up again in the third period, and I thought that the altitude and the thin air as well kind of slowed things down for Tampa later in the game, and Colorado was starting to pick it up again. I thought they carried the play late, and then, of course, they get the one-timer from Andrei Burakovsky in overtime for the game winner 4-3. So I thought it was a great game played by both teams, and give Colorado credit. Joe, they took a punch after being ahead 3-1. Tampa comes back. Maybe you think, Colorado in a little bit of trouble. But they punched back, and they get the 4-3 win. I think it was an important game for Colorado to win, considering everybody, including me, was concerned about the 9 days off. And the fact they won that game, I think, pretty important for the Avs.
Yeah, it was absolutely so important for them to get that first win. And I thought what we saw in that first period when we were on the betcast together, for them to dominate on that power kill and not allow Tampa to score, was the biggest eye-opener to me, that this Colorado team is going to be able to hang with Tampa. They didn't come in rusty. They came in so well rested and so powerful, getting a nice big win in that first period there, 3-1 over the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then what we saw Tampa answer back, something I didn't really think we would see in that second. I thought Colorado was going to pull it through the second, but both teams playing phenomenal in that third period, not allowing a goal on either side. And that OT goal, it was just beautiful. I love what I saw out of the game last night. 4-3 finish there, giving us the over. Not sure we're going to see an over in the next one.
I don't know either. I mean, it's kind of like the Rangers and Lightning series. I love the over in Game 1. I really loved the over last night, and I had the first period as well over the total. I think a lot of us did. Who didn't like the over, especially early in the first period, if not the full? A lot of people liked that last night with Colorado, 9 days off, a lot of rest. You'd be skating well, and Tampa Bay might take a game for them really to adjust to what kind of skill and speed and talent and ability Colorado has. And definitely it looked that way if you watched Game 1. But I still think we're going to see some unders in this series. We are also talking about 2 very capable defensive teams. We're talking about a Tampa Bay team that, as we transition now to look ahead at Game 2, a Tampa Bay team that I think is going to be looking to, get the game more at their pace. Yeah. Years ago, Tampa Bay would be more than willing to trade chances and go up and down the ice with a team like Colorado. That isn't the way Tampa Bay wants to go about things these days. They want to be a pretty sound, respected defensive team, start with the defensive end of the ice. And I think they know they have very much room for improvement defensively after what we saw in Game 1. And John Cooper said it in the post-game press conference that, we do have a lot of ways to improve here going into game 2. We think we can be a whole lot better managing the puck. So we'll definitely see if they are capable of doing that here moving forward into a game 2. So Saturday night, by the way, is going to be game 2. As far as the props go, Joe, you know very well from being on the betcast, what a first period for me with some of these goal score props. I mean, it
Oh,
was
absolutely. You
absolutely
just
unreal.
loaded up.
I
How
mean,
much
what do
plus
we
money did you walk away with last night, Ian? Because that first period, you're what, plus 700?
actually, if you throw in the Lehkonen goal, which was
Yep.
also in the first period on the 5-on-3, Lehkonen, Nick Paul, and of course, Big Val Nichushkin.
Wow.
Nichushkin was plus 375. Nick Paul was plus 375. Lehkonen was plus 300. So that's plus 1050. That's over 10-1 odds combined winners and price there on those 3 goal score props that I
Hats
won
off to
with.
you, Ian. That's absolutely phenomenal. You hit that. You guys put me onto that first period over 1.5 because the juice had come down. So
Yep.
glad I was able to get that. Like, if you guys aren't watching the betcast, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're missing out, and you get to see me drink on the air too, and act a fool sometimes. That's worth it sometimes as well. But it's a lot of fun. No, it is. And actually, that was more drinking for me than normal on the Becca's because after I think you left, Joe, I busted out the peach schnapps. Doctor
Oh, no
McGill comes.
way. That
Doctor
can get
Doctor in the
dangerous quick.
house. Yeah.
Love it.
The doctor was in the house. So no, it was a lot of fun, but no, it was, and from a betting standpoint, it was a very good bet cast. We had a lot of in-game winners, a lot of the props cashed in. So it was really good in terms of the money we were able to make from the bet cast, not just the fun that we had doing the bet cast. But game 2, Saturday night, I've got the odds on the screen, as you can see if you're watching on YouTube. Colorado minus 150. Home favorites in game 2, total 6. I'll be honest, I'll say it right now. And of course, we'll be on again on Saturday for our next live show at noon Eastern. Vito will be on. We'll see if Alex or Andrew join us as well on Saturday. But we will have a show Saturday, noon Eastern. We're looking forward to that. So I'll have everything confirmed and locked in by then. Props, side total, everything. But I'll say this right now off the hop, Joe. Tampa Bay are pass for me in game 2. We know this team is very good off a loss. We know John Cooper's very good at making adjustments. There's no question about that. He's done that many times before in the past. And as many people have said, sometimes it takes call. I think it was someone on our betcast last night said it takes Tampa Bay, a game or 2 sometimes to get adjusted to the new opponent, right? And the
Absolutely.
new series. We've seen that repeatedly. The loss to Toronto in game 1, the loss to the Rangers in game 1. The only game 1 they were victorious in was Florida, in the second round where they swept the Panthers. So there is definitely some truth to the fact that it does take Tampa Bay a series to warm up. And there's also some truth to the fact that Colorado is very capable of winning 2 home games in a row because the Rangers did it and ended that big spell that Tampa Bay had over the opponent off a loss. It was the Rangers that snapped that streak with their game 2 home win in the last round. What was it, 18-0 off a loss for Tampa Bay? Still 18-1 off a loss, though. That's pretty damn good for Tampa Bay, even with that. But you're getting a pretty good price here again, plus 130, a nice underdog price. I think Tampa Bay, they saw game 1 just how much puck movement and skill and ability and how they think the game fast. It's not just that they skate fast, they move the puck fast. This Colorado team and their individual players, they think the game very fast. They seem to make a decision before the defense on the other team can react. And we saw some of those plays work very well last night for the Colorado Avalanche. That's really when they did a lot of their damage against Tampa Bay, when they were just moving that puck and the high level thinking and say, let's pass instead of shoot. Let's shoot instead of pass. That mental game that you have when you got the puck on your stick. I think those decisions were just done so well by Colorado, and that's what got Tampa Bay's defense out of position. When you block as many shots as the Lightning do, when you've got an elite goalie like Vasilevsky, if you're going to get pucks to the net, you've got to be able to maybe fake a shot, pass, maybe look like you're going to pass the puck to the right side and go back against the grain and pass it to the left, because get the defense moving and go against the grain. And that is the kind of stuff Colorado's just incredible at. High level thinking and a split second rate. And that's what can open up those shooting lanes and open up those passing lanes against a team that is so staunch defensively like Tampa Bay is. And I think Colorado already showed signs that they could do a really good job of that last night. That being said, Tampa Bay is going to work overtime to make some corrections, make some adjustments following game one. I thought there's a lot of their players that could have played better. I thought it was a very quiet game from Stamkos. Did you notice Stamkos on
Oh,
the ice
no,
last
not at
night?
all.
Not
And
at all.
even Braden Point, I know he got an assist, but quiet game for him as
Yep.
well. I'd be looking at both of those players in this next game. And I'm with you when you say it's Tampa or no one for the second game. I really do look at what we saw in the second period and the third and go, okay, Tampa made adjustments here. And I think we're going to see those adjustments even better going into the second game. So for me, the value is there with Tampa. I do think Colorado still plays a solid game, but I think Tampa wins one here on the road and takes it back tied up into Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's definitely the way I put it this way. It's going to be, I won't be on Colorado. That much I know already. It's going to be look toward Tampa Bay or nothing for me in this game. And you made a good point about some of those props. You got to think, Stamkos, Kucherov, even pretty quiet, although he did make a beautiful pass to Palat. He made a great play there. It was really Stamkos more than anybody that was just absent. Couldn't find him with a telescope. Got to say it. That's the way it was last night with Steven Stamkos. I hate saying that because he's had a nice couple of rounds here in a row, but it just wasn't the best game from him last night there against the Avs. And by the way, held without a point. And I'm just looking back. I want to see what Stamkos does when he doesn't score a point in the playoffs. What does he do in the next game? He had no points against Toronto in game one, that game where they got shut out 5-0. Yep. The next game, he had 1 assist, 1 point. He had no points in game 3 against Toronto in the first round. Next game, he had 1 goal, 1 point. So there you go. Two examples right there. No points in one game, and the next game he gets on the score sheet. He had no points against Toronto in game 7. Game 1 of the next series against Florida, he had a point. He had no points in the fourth game against Florida. He had 2 points, a goal and an assist the next game. He had no points in game 6 against the New York Rangers, game 5 against the New York Rangers. Game 6, he has 2 goals, both Tampa goals, 2 points in game 6 against the Rangers. So there is a repeated pattern for Stamkos. No points in one game. Watch out for him the next game. That's been the pattern. He's gotten at least a point in every game for the Tampa Bay Lightning that he's played in the playoffs, coming off a game where he had no points. It's a great thing to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely see him having a stronger game in the next one. It's going to be a fun one, Ian. I really do think, though, the best way to take it is that under. I really do see tightened up defense on both sides. And we know Vasilevsky, he let in 2 soft goals, I think, in my opinion, last night. So I think this is a 3-2 game.
All right, Joe Madden leaning toward the under right now here in this game 2 on Saturday night with Tampa and Colorado. I want to see what Tampa's trend has been when they win, because we both definitely lean to Tampa, right? We definitely do in game 2. So if you like Tampa Bay to win, go and look and see what the history has been here in the playoffs when they win. When they won a couple of games against Toronto, they won a couple of games that went over the total. But since game 7, Joe, against Toronto, look at the wins for when they've won in the playoffs. 2-1 game 7 against Toronto, game stays under. 4-1 in game 1 against Florida, the game stays under. 2-1 against Florida, the game stays under. Game 2. Game 3 against Florida, they win 5-1, it stays under 6.5. Game 4 against Florida, 2-0, game stays under. The first win they had against the Rangers, game 3 in Tampa, 3-2, it stays under 5.5. Game 4 against the Rangers, they win 4-1, game stays under. 3-1 against the Rangers in game 5, game stays under. 2-1 against the Rangers to close out that series, game stays under. So every Tampa Bay victory in the Stanley Cup playoffs since game 7 of the first round against Toronto, it's gone under the total. Every single Tampa win has gone under the total since game 7 against Toronto. First couple wins for Tampa in the Toronto series went over. Yeah. But ever since then, when Tampa wins a game goes under the total. So it does kind of fit the strategy and the thought process we both have, Joe, where if Tampa Bay is going to win game 2, it's more than likely going to be a lower scoring game.
Yeah, and with that, you can also look at these team totals here. We saw last night the team total for the Colorado Av at 3.5, with them coming in at the favorite. I'm not getting a line right now, but I would be shocked if they weren't 3.5. And to that under, hopefully we're not paying too much juice, because I would look at them to stay under that number for the next one.
Yeah, exactly. And when you look at Colorado here, Colorado's been up and down with totals. Like they've had a bunch of overs, but they've had some unders as well.
Yep.
So, they're capable of playing a lower scoring game. And to be honest with you, Kemper was more than solid last night for his first game in a couple of weeks. Thought he made a couple of big saves last night. That was a concern of mine going into the game last night, but I thought Darcy Kemper did a very, very good job, considering the situation he was in. You're facing the two-time defending champs. That's not an easy team to have to play in net against when you've been off for a period of time. But no, I thought he played a really solid game. He wasn't the reason. He was a big part of the reason, I should say, Colorado won that game last night. Vasilevsky
Absolutely.
faced more shots, but at the end of the day, Tampa Bay was Kemper was very good in net. Last night in that game, made some key saves at key times.
Yeah, he was. And then we look at also what the defense of Colorado is able to do, getting those block shots on goal to just give him that extra layer of protection. He only faced those 23 shots last night and saved 20 of those. He did fantastically. I have higher hopes for him now than I did going into the first game. There was a couple of really, high pressure shots that they got on him. It's just amazing to think, though. Only 23 shots on goal, got 3 of those in. And when we look at Colorado, they blanket Vasilevsky in waves of shots, 38 shots on him, 4 of those going in. So it's going to be an interesting second matchup. I definitely would be still looking at Colorado to come out firing again and look at Vasilevsky's over-save shots as well.
Yeah, no question. Again, no points for Stamkos. He has a track record of hitting the score sheet the next game after not getting a point in the previous game. That was definitely something that stuck out to me. You probably see a more engaged, a better captain for the Tampa Bay Lightning, Steven Stamkos, in Game 2. How about no points for Perry? Perry was very quiet. Like there wasn't any moments where Perry was jamming Kemper in front of the net or really getting under his skin or anything. Like we just didn't see that kind of stuff from Corey Perry last night. It was kind of strange, but he was conspicuously absent last night. So we'll see if he can step it up a little bit. Hedman was that's another thing I'll talk about here. Victor Hedman. You don't see many shaky defensive nights for this guy. He had one last night. He had a bad turnover that led to one of the first period goals for Colorado. He was on the ice, although it was more Sergachev's fault. Sergachev, what are you doing? You're flipping a pass right through the middle of the ice, through the neutral zone in overtime there. Kind of put Hedman in a bad spot. But nevertheless, Hedman's still on the ice for what was the overtime winning goal last night by Andrei Burakovsky. So great player, but, great players don't play great every night. As Harry Neal once said, even Betty Crocker burns the odd cake. And last night we ended up seeing Victor Hedman not at his absolute best.
Yeah, it was surprising not to see him at his best, but another player that I think will have a bounce back. We look at these players that did have weaker games in that first, and I'm looking for them to come out with energy in the second. So it's going to be a great series for sure. Are you still looking for this series to go deep in?
No question. By the way, I did take 6 and 7 game series props. Both of them were plus 210. Nice. So you know what the obvious intent is or goal. Win one of them and you're profitable. Absolutely. Doesn't matter which one. And they're both the same price. So it's not even a situation where, you can cheer on, I prefer 6 or 7 games because they're both plus 210. I just want to hit one of them and it'll be profitable. Give me a 6-game series. Give me a 7-game series. I'll be happy with either one. So that's where I'm at. So that was my thought. And I don't have to worry about who wins the series either.
Yeah.
It's just bets on the series to go 6 and the series to go 7 games, regardless of who wins. Both of them at plus 210. So that's my thinking, is that hopefully we get at least a 6 games, and I think we will. Because I
would be shocked. I'd be shocked if this one is finished in 5. Looking at the talent on both sides of the puck here, I think really you have a moneymaker going 6 or 7. I hope it goes to 7 because I don't want hockey to be over this year, but we'll see. Someone could get it done in 6. It's going to be interesting. I think Game 2 is pivotal that Tampa gets a win.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm with you there, Cheshire Cat. Like Hedman was on the ice. He has to take some responsibility for it, but no doubt that was Sergachev's mistake. There's no question about it. Just a terrible play. Can't make that. No force. He knows better than that. Anybody on this Tampa team knows. In overtime, don't put the puck through the middle of the ice. Find your outlet. Find your teammate. Use the glass. Use the boards. Use the wall. Anything but doing that. And he made the worst decision possible at that moment, and it ended up costing Tampa Bay in overtime, leading to that Burakovsky goal. But yeah, Kucherov wasn't great last night, although the one great moment he had was that beautiful feed to Palat. That was a great goal. No question about that, how well he just feathered that puck through to Palat on the goal that they scored in the second period. But no, Tampa Bay will be better. I've seen too much of Tampa Bay this year, last year, 2 years ago. Everybody gets worried if the bad game one happens to them. And how many times have they responded? They've just done it repeatedly. So win or lose, because they may not win, but win or lose, they will be a better Tampa Bay team than they were in game two than they were last night in game one. I'm pretty sure of that. All right, there you go. That's our early look ahead. Again, we can't really go into props too much because those don't usually get posted until 24 hours or less before the game. So we'll get more into that on Saturday's show, which will be our next live show at noon Eastern. I am doing just me and a guest tomorrow. We're going to do a pre-recorded show. It's just a brief, quick one, and we'll post it up on the YouTube channel tomorrow with a guest. But our next live show is going to be at noon Eastern on Saturday. That is the day of game two, and we will break it all down: side, total, props, everything, you name it, for game two, Saturday, right here on the Ice Guys show. Before we wrap it up, DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NHL, reminding you, new customers can bet just $1 on any NHL team, get $150 in free bets if they win. If DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state or province, you can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings daily fantasy hockey contests. DraftKings giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings app, sign up for an account, use the promo code THPN, bet just $1 on any NHL team, get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Must be 21 years of age or older, must reside in a DraftKings Sportsbook state or province. Restriction applies. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Download the DraftKings app, sign up for an account, use the promo code THPN. There you go. I do that every day, Joe, the promo read there for DraftKings.
You do a fantastic job of it too, Ian. Wow.
Yeah, and I appreciate you've complimented my voice before, but Dan Shulman, like I say, I'm going to be listening to him in 30 minutes when the Blue Jays start on Sportsnet. That's the guy with the voice.
No, I tell you, I listen because you said that. I still think you have a better voice, Ian.
I think that's a bunch of BS as far as I'm concerned. But thank you, I appreciate it. But Dan Shulman is the master. Like you, that's the guy I would handpick to say, you know what, they're going to put me under the ground. You just recite my eulogy for me, please.
Okay,
Dan Shulman would be that guy. I know it's kind of a dark thought because that's hopefully many, many, many years down the road from now that we're talking about my eulogy. But nevertheless, he's the guy that would read it. He just, what a voice. I mean, it's an easy listen. It's a soothing voice. It's booming. It's powerful. He's one of the best in the business of sports play-by-play. That's why ESPN loves him so much. That's why he's there probably, is because he's that good. Yeah, definitely. Oh, is everybody liking Joe Matt? Yeah, we'll bring Joe back. Hopefully, the problem is we don't have many shows left. So, we're only on our live shows mostly on game days now during the Cup final. Then we're going to have a season finale show. Maybe for that one, we'll bring Joe back, season finale show. And she'll be on maybe our betcasts next week. She might be coming back for the betcasts next week too. So you'll see her on that Monday and Wednesday potentially for our next two betcasts. Joe, great stuff. Great to have you on the Ice Guys.
Yeah, thanks for allowing me to come on today. It was great to sit here and talk hockey with you. I love talking hockey. So thanks for making my day, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff. And hopefully get you ready a little bit early for game two. I mean, there's still a couple days. We can still, ponder things and, really do our due diligence before we lock in everything. But you're kind of already getting a sense of where we're leaning at the moment with game two on Saturday. But great stuff with Joe Madden, our special guest. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it. And a reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. A welcome addition to the show, says Zach F. for Joe Madden. So very kind comments. We appreciate the feedback of everyone watching. That's a wrap for our special guest, Joe Madden. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Thursday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back for our next live Ice Guys show on Saturday, noon Eastern, to get you ready for Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.